Hey, it's 11:11 on 11:11. Happy Wednesday to ya. I hope you're enjoying yourself, enjoying your day, off to a good start wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I am enjoying a good start myself, and here to take a quick body check break, check in with myself. It's a little chilly out here this morning, so I've got my cozy vest on. As usual, I invite you to join me if you feel like it, to whatever degree it feels right in your body. Mostly I'm just here to keep myself accountable to myself, do a little stretching and a little strengthening, a little warming up, a little moving, a little shaking it out, maybe even a little dancing. Probably not. I don't have any music out here. I do got music up here, but for now, I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to bring my awareness into the bottoms of my feet, root myself into the center of the earth, hang myself from the center of the universe, and let's take a slow roll down for starters. Just checking in with the spine all the way down past the waist to the hips. Hanging here for a breath or so. Just letting gravity do some unwinding, and then I'm going to roll back up nice and slow. Stacking one vertebra on the next, just checking in with the body. I think I'm taking that off, although I may have to put it back on. Let's see how cold it is. Let's do some big circles with the arms. Try not to hit the dome. And breathe in on the way up and out on the way down. Going the other way. Let's do some circles with the shoulders, medium circles. We'll do big, medium, and small this morning or this afternoon, as the case may be where you are. Going the other way, breathing still in on the way up and out on the way down. Shake that out a little bit, and let's do some little circles, checking in with the fingers and the hands on the wrists. Just inviting the body to get a little more cohesive, a little more in flow, a little less stagnant, a little less pent up. I'm going to do some smoothing of the arms. I have a lot of numbness and pain in those fairly often, so I try to remember to shake it out, let that go. Let's do another forward fold from the hips, this time with a flat back. Swan diving down, coming down toward the ground and just hanging here for a breath or so. And then I'm going to come up from the waist, left elbow over right, pulling back in the waist, up in the pelvic floor, pulling the shoulder blades apart, just giving myself a nice squeeze, a nice hug this morning, and then releasing all that again from the hips. And one more time coming up, this time right elbow over left, pulling the shoulder blades apart, giving a nice squeeze, pulling back in the abdomen, up in the pelvic floor, rounding the spine. And one more time, releasing all that toward the ground. I'm going to bring these feet out wider into a bit of a wider stance. Just stretch into that, and then come over to the left side, using the hands on the leg to kind of pull the torso over that left leg. Little partial twist, and then back to center, using both hands on both legs to pull the body from the hip still, and then over to the right, again using the hands on the leg, pull the body over that leg. I'm wearing an uncooperative shirt this morning, so I'm going to try tucking it in. See if that helps. And again, back to center, pulling with both hands. Just letting the head go. And then I'm going to bend the knees just a little bit and roll up in the spider stance. Stacking each vertebrae on the next. I'm going to walk these feet back under the hips, tucking the shirt proper for this. I'm going to add a little arm spinning, just letting the arms hang freely, getting the spine a little woken up, a little movement in there. Got plenty of stiffness this cool, cold morning, so just inviting it to get moving. Move it out a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and step back with this left foot, pressing that heel down into the ground, tipping the tailbone under, pulling the back hip forward and forward hip back, making sure not to crunch past the toes with that knee. Enjoying a nice, strong lunge stance. Bringing the arms up overhead, making sure not to crunch up in those shoulders. And then I'm going to shift that back heel forward a little bit onto the perpendicular line, opening the hips and checking out this side plane here. I'm going to eat these toes out a little so I don't crunch that knee past them, and bending from the hip into a twisting side triangle, or maybe just a side triangle, no twisting. Raising up the left hand to gaze past those fingertips. And then I'm going to add a little more twisting, reaching for that opposite thigh, gazing out past the long leg. Enjoying that diagonal line. Unwinding that and bringing both hands on the inside of the right foot for a nice deep lunge there. And then I'm going to bring that front foot back to meet the back foot, pressing through the palms, through the arms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. Let's press a little more into the left, bending the right knee, bending the left knee, pressing into the right, and pressing into the left, pressing into the right. One more time, pressing into the left, to the right, and then pressing with both palms again into both heels, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. I'm going to swing the body forward, bringing the chest up through the shoulders, keeping the legs pressed together, bringing the eyes up, letting the belly drop, protecting the low back with those legs and butt squeezing together. Just trying to give the belly a chance to let go, relax. I'm checking not to be sinking in the shoulders, really pressing through those palms. And then lifting the hips again, pressing back through palms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head again, pressing into both heels. Swing that left foot forward in between the hands for a nice deep lunge. I like to do a little bounce there. Only do that if that feels right to you. And I'm going to straighten that front leg, doing a nice forward fold, just draping the body over that leg. Let's alternate aiming chin for toes with a flat back, and then rounding a little bit, aiming forehead for knee. And then again, lengthening the body over that leg, aiming chin for toes. And one more time, rounding, forehead to knee. And again, straight long back, aiming chin for toes. Lengthening the body over that leg. One more time, rounding, forehead to knee. I'm going to bend that knee and step forward with the back foot, hanging here in forward fold. Hi, Steffi Cat. knees and swing the arms back. Coming into a bit of a counter stretch. Pushing the hips forward, gazing up past those fingertips. And coming back to neutral, central. Let's shake that out a little bit. And then I'm going to step back with the right foot into a nice lunge. Moderate lunge, pressing that heel down, pulling the front hip back and the back hip forward, looking for a perpendicular line here with the hips, parallel lines with the feet. Checking not to crunch past those toes, trying to tip the tailbone under a little, looking for a nice long, strong line through the abdomen and spine, making sure not to crunch up in those shoulders. I'm just enjoying this lunge position or warrior pose for a little bit. And then sliding that back heel forward a little bit onto the perpendicular line. Opening the hips now. Checking out the side plane. I'm going to slide that back foot forward or back or the forward foot forward a little bit. And bending from the hip into a side triangle or aeroplane pose. Gazing up past those right fingertips. Making sure not to sink in the supporting leg or arm. Really using those against each other for torque and support. And then bringing this arm around behind for a little extra twist, gazing out past the long leg, getting the spine and the organs just a little squeeze, a little wringing out. Pretty gentle today. Unwinding all that, I'm going to bring that hand on the inside of the left leg for a nice deep lunge there, and then bringing that front foot back to meet the back foot, and again pressing through the palms, through the arms, up the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head, pressing into the heels. Pressing the heart toward the center of the earth, pressing the heels into the earth. We'll lengthen that just a little bit to get a little more stretch there. And then sliding the body forward, bringing the chest up through the shoulders, keeping those legs squoze together, and letting the belly drop. Lifting the chest, lifting the eyes, pressing through the palms, relaxing the belly. Can add a nice tongue stretch there if you feel inclined. It's a good spot for it. And then I'm going to lift the hips, pressing again back into downward facing dog or upside down triangle or tent position. Pressing through the palms, through the spine, tipping the tailbone toward the back of the head. And then I'm going to swing that right foot forward. Got my unstretchy jeans on today, feeling it. It's a good time to remind you, you really don't need any special equipment or any special outfit or any special handmade dome like I happen to have. I built this myself, by the way, but you can, it doesn't take any of that to do a little body check, a little stretching, a little strengthening, give yourself a little self-love. I'm going to lengthen that front leg and drape the body over that leg, aiming chin for toes, nice and long spine. And then rounding the spine, aiming forehead for knee. Again, long spine, chin for toes, towards toes, and then rounding again, forehead toward knee, and again, aiming chin for toes, lengthening the spine, just letting it kind of drape over that leg, and then one more time, rounding the spine. Forehead to knee. Sounds like a dentist out there. And I'm going to bend that front knee a little and step forward with the back foot into a forward fold. Just hanging here from the hips. Letting the spine continue to unwind with gravity. Let's bring the arms behind the back. Give a nice little pat to the low back, and then clasp the hands, pulling palms together, pulling elbows together, pulling shoulders together. Just getting a nice stretch through the shoulders, through the chest. I like to wiggle that around a little bit, kind of explore that stretch through the shoulders. And then I'm going to press through the feet, lifting with the flat back from the hips, leading with those fingers, and all the way up and back into a counter stretch, pulling the fingers down now. And coming back to neutral. Let's shake that out. Shake it to the left and shake it to the right. I've been reminded lately how much stress can affect our digestion and our health and our breathing and our smile and all the processes of our life. So it's important to let go of stress. Make that a daily routine, or maybe many times a day, but at least once a day, probably at least twice a day, just like brushing your teeth, which, now that I think of it, is supposed to be 3 times a day, isn't it? In any case, I hope you're making de-stressing, letting go, a regular part of your routine, some way or another, because I do think that's pretty important. As important as it ever was, maybe even more lately, as there seem to be a lot of reasons to be stressed. If you're watching any of those screens, at least that's what they would lead you to believe. I'm going to bring my weight onto the right foot and bring that left knee up toward left shoulder, making sure to relax that supporting foot and leg, tipping the tailbone under a little bit for a nice straight line. Let's do some little, medium, and big circles here with the ankle, or the foot on the ankle. Little circles, and then from the knee, medium circles. The other way. Just checking in with the whole body today. That's the point. Getting a little playfulness in, a little movement. Let's do big circles from the hip. If you need to, you might want to have a doorway or a wall to hold on there. For balance, I try to not counter lean too much in these exercises on one foot. Stay supportive from that supportive side. Going the other way. And set that down, bring weight onto the left, and bring the right knee up toward right shoulder. Relaxing the shoulders, tipping the tailbone under a little bit. Relaxing that supporting leg and foot. Let's do some little circles with the foot on the ankle and the other way. Don't forget to breathe and smile. Let's go medium circles from the knee. There's that dentist again out there. Big circles from the hip. And the other way. Stomp that out a little bit. I'm going to come down and do my 1 push-up. Bending from the hip and then walking the hands out, coming into a plank position, pulling the legs together, making sure the elbows are kept in close to the body, pulling up in the abdomen, up in the pelvic floor, and then down nice and slow. holding here at the bottom for a breath or so. Pushing back up nice and slow. Oh, let's make it 2 push-ups today. Coming down again, nice and slow. Holding here. And then nice and slow back up. Walk those feet back toward the hands. Coming to forward fold, just hanging here. Let's roll up nice and slow, stacking one vertebra on the next. Shake that out some more. Alright, I'm gonna leave you to get to my inversions. I hope you enjoy a wonderful Wednesday. It's good to see some of you out there. I think I need my vest back today. Thanks for stopping by. George, good to see ya. Ciao for now.